We got about 4 minutes until Trump takes the podium and he talks about whatever's going on with Iran and Iraq and the whole situation. It's a whole lot going on. So all we can do is just hope that it won't be any further escalation. Just to give you a brief rundown of what's happening so far. Yesterday, Iran attacked Iraqi air bases or just, military bases that housed U.S. soldiers. Now, I'm hearing that there was forewarning of the attack. Therefore, all the Americans were able to be escorted out. Nobody was injured as far as an American is concerned. If they were injured, nobody passed away. There were no American casualties. I'm hearing that Iranian television are saying that 30 Americans died. And I think MS-13 NBC ran with that particular number, but that's not being confirmed from anybody in the U.S. The Pentagon says no Americans died. MSDNC say that 30 Americans died, as did some on Iranian television. So, I'll take the Pentagon's word over MS-13 NBC, but different story, I digress. The whole point is that Trump will be on the stage at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is in about 2 minutes, to address the whole situation. So we're just here waiting on the whole thing, and I thank y'all for being here. My hope is that we don't go any further. Okay, they attack us, we attack them, whatever. If we go further and say, okay, we're going to drop a nuke on Tehran, that'd be a whole different ball game right there. There's also a lot of other events that happened. You had a plane crash randomly in Tehran right at the same time when they were doing the missile attack. I think like hours afterward, like 2 hours later, a plane just magically crashes. Now, it could have been a crash because we've had problems with the Boeing jets before. It could have just been a natural crash, but I don't think the largest aviation disaster or commercial flight disaster ever just happened to be on the same time where you have missiles going from Iran to Iraq. I'm just saying, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. There were also earthquakes close to their nuclear sites. Now, they're saying that the earthquakes were not shallow enough to be caused by the nukes or, any kind of testing. It had to have been like just a natural earthquake because it was very deep in the ground. I'm just saying you got earthquakes, plane crashes, and at the same time, missile launches. Is it a coincidence? Possibly, but it's a whole lot of coincidences happening at the same time for everything to just be happenstance. You understand what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what it is. And I thank y'all for being here. Again, Trump should be on the stage any moment now. He's scheduled to be on stage at 11 a.m. Eastern. So it could be sooner, later, whatever it is. Now, people are saying that it's shot down. Where is that being confirmed? I got to have, because if I say something like that, I got to be able to prove it. Yeah, I definitely got to be able to prove it. I don't know, right? It probably was shot down, but I don't know if it was or not. I can't say that it was with 100% certainty or confidence because I don't have that information in front of me. But like I said, it's a whole lot of coincidences that happen at once for everything to just be happenstance. You did what I'm saying? So I think there's much more to it than what is being said. But I think all of that will be found out in the days and weeks and months to come, maybe even years to come. We'll be talking about this whole situation. I think that it was a mistake, a targeted attack that wound up being a mistake. Okay, so we're right here at the podium waiting on Trump to come out. Let me make sure my desktop sound is on. Ukraine said they serviced the plane. We know the truth. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right, RW. The missiles missed all their targets. Now, I'm pretty sure that was done on purpose. I've seen sources that say that the Iranians contacted the U.S. through proxy that they were going to show force and not actually hurt them. And they warned them beforehand that the missile attacks were going to happen just to make sure that nobody was injured, even though they intentionally missed their target. If you're able to shoot drones, multiple drones out of the sky from Iran that belong to the U.S., that are worth over $100 million each with accurate pinpoint precision. If you're able to hit airfields in countries further away than Iraq with pinpoint precision, surely you're able to hit a military base that's very big and is very well known, has been there for a long time. Okay, if you miss it, that means you miss it on purpose. That's clearly what's going on. They just wanted to show force to say, okay, you killed our general. We got to go ahead and strike you to appease the people in the streets that may be upset. That's all that it is. It ain't nothing else. And also to save face, to appear to be, big tough guy, whatever. That's what that is. Yeah, optics only. Exactly. That's what it is, Gump. Yes, we don't need any more wars. My hope is that Trump comes out and calms the situation and say, okay, we're not going to advance. We're going to just, you know, continue to defend ourselves, but not advance into Tehran or nothing like that. If he says there's going to be a war, it's pretty much a wrap. Like, that'll really hurt his campaign, if not kill it. People are going to say, oh, okay, you want to get us in the war. X, Y, and Z person wouldn't do that. It just wouldn't really be good at all. Thank you, S. Von Beckham. I appreciate you for your support. This is a pretty important talk that he'll give here, so I had to cover it. And what I'm going to do is another video where I talk about everything that's going on and break it down, piece by piece, so we understand what's going on. The whole thing with the plane crashes and the earthquakes and the so-called attack on the Iraqi air bases from the Iranians, the whole situation. I'm going to look at all of it, break it down, and give you a nice succinct video. But right now we got to cover what Trump is saying as far as Iraq and Iran. No problem, America Scout. Thank you for joining. Yeah, and the thing about Iran, they've been attacking us for years and years. This ain't nothing new. This is just pretty much, par for the course. All right, Renee from Nicaragua. Shout out to Nicaragua. Well, I mean, the guy didn't get killed for no reason. We didn't kill the general for no reason. I mean, if you've been launching proxy attacks on Americans and you're responsible for about 600 American deaths through your direct direction, I mean, that's a reason right there. I mean, you're launching attacks that kill Americans, so that's the reason why we did it. Could we have not done it? Yes, we could have not done it. But let's not act like there was no reason. There's plenty of reason to do that. That's like saying there was no point in killing bin Laden. It don't make no sense. Yeah, I'm seeing some of the Israel stuff. It's dumb. If you ask me, Israel, like Jewish people are the white man's white man. Or when you get too woke as a non-white person to keep blaming the white man, you want to turn to the Jewish person and blame him for everything that's going on. Like you have no control over your life and over what happens in the country. Like you can't vote, you can't go out there and do things for yourself. You got to blame somebody else for whatever goes on. It's kind of stupid for real, honestly. It shouldn't be no censoring going on. What I do have on is slow mode, so you're not able to send a message a lot. You got to wait 30 seconds to send a message just so the chat goes slow. And we also can crack down on trolls, because what trolls do, they come into the chat and repeatedly post things over and over. But with slow mode on, that prevents them from being able to do that. So it's no censoring going on. It's just a way to keep the chat under control and above board, so we don't get overrun by trolls or anything like that. Alrighty, so we're just waiting on Trump. Like I said, the address was scheduled for 11 a.m. Eastern. So we're at 11:06 a.m. Eastern. He could be here at any particular point in time. He can just pop up and say what he's got to say and keep it rocking. So we're just going to wait on him to come on out. Let me see. Shout out to Brandon Wolf, who says faith is very important in honor societies. They know we could vaporize them, so they do this as propaganda for their own people, very like North Korea. Exactly. No war. Thank you, Brandon. That's a very good point. And thank you for your super chat. Yeah, that's right on it. I mean, if the people are out in the street saying, hey, you got to do something, you got to preserve honor, you got to do something. That doesn't mean they're going to actually try to hurt us directly. They don't have any kind of issue hurting us indirectly through their proxy. They've been doing that for 40 years, ever since the, revolution, which is the theocracy that we see right now. Because before, like 78, 79, Iran was like a Western country almost. You could see women outside in bikinis, not anymore. Now they got to have on the hefty bag. You understand what I'm saying? That's just what happens when you have a theocracy take over, and when the religion is extreme like Islam. Thank you to No Diggity No Doubt, who says, thanks for streaming this. Love the channel. Hey, thank you for your support. I got to do it. It's a very important address, so I had to be here to stream it for you guys, and I appreciate y'all for joining. Shout out to Richard Stanton, who said, thanks for all you do. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Most certainly appreciate you. I have a different mic. Hopefully the mic sounds good. It's not too loud. It's not piercing your ears. And hopefully the sound is a little bit more full than the previous microphone I had. Yeah, I did see that. They took the U.S. off before the missile attacks. Yes. Thank you, Flygrow, for your donation. I know I butchered your name and I'm sorry. Yep, Raymundo 11 says, yep, they were more 60s than the American 60s. Exactly. Yes, 100%. They were like a Western type of place back then, but it changed when the theocracy came. Yeah, the beekeeper outfit. Yes, the beekeeper outfit, 100%. The mic sounds great. Sounds good. Very good sound. All right, perfect. A very full but loud sound. Okay. I'll probably turn it down just a skosh. Well, I'm gonna equalize it once Trump comes out because, sometimes sometimes the audio on these speeches, it depends on who captures it, how they captures it. Sometimes it's not all the way good, but I'll make sure that it's equalized properly. Voice has more resonance. Good money. This is a Audio Technica AT2020 microphone. Is that what it is? Yeah. AT2020 with a pop filter on the front. What you're seeing right now is the back of it. On the front, there's a pop filter. You see the rubber bands right there in the back. So yeah, I have another microphone that I'll be using for when I just do my regular videos. It's a shotgun mic on top of this camera. This is a regular point and shoot camera. So I'm just trying to get a little bit better audio and video, just slightly better for the new year, for when I go on television and stuff like that. Everything's good, Dave. Thank you for joining. All right. Let's see who's in the chat. Thank you for the super chat, Magnificent. He says, brother from another. Hey, man, I appreciate you for that, man. Thank you for joining the stream today. I really appreciate you, boss. All right, so I guess we're getting prepared here. We got guys coming in and out. AT2035. Okay, I might check that mic out. Now, you definitely don't want war with Iran, in my humble opinion. I did not know that she was Iranian. I thought she was some kind of Middle Eastern, but I didn't know Iranian. That's interesting. The Rode Link. I have a Rode Video Micro on top of the camera here. I'm not using that right now, but the one I have is very good. The sound is excellent. I've not used the other Rode mics, but the Rode mic I do have is very good. You'll be seeing that when I do my regular pre-recorded videos. You won't see a microphone here at all. It'll just be me talking, and the sound will be pretty good. The only thing with that microphone is that it picks up a lot of background noise, but I can fix that in post-production with a filter. Right now, I have a filter on this through OBS, but it's easier to control it. It's easier to control this than it is to control that. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but, overall, these are pretty good microphones. Shout out to Email from West Virginia. Wild and Wonderful, West by God. So if you're just now coming in, the address is scheduled for 11 a.m. Eastern. Obviously, we're past that time right now. It's 11:12 Eastern. So at any point in time, Trump should come out and address us about the whole Iran, Iraq war, no war situation. So we're just waiting here right now to see when he comes out and to see whatever he says. Yeah, I don't think, just from my personal opinion, my take, I don't think that Trump is going to go further with this. It just wouldn't really be good for him. He has some war hawks in the administration that may want him to do this, but it just wouldn't really be good. Because Trump, listen to what I'm saying here. Trump could have struck Iran back when they shot the drone down. It's been a lot of things that the Iranians have done to us under his administration that we just say, okay, we're not going to do that. Matter of fact, I saw him yesterday talking about the cultural sites, because he put out a tweet talking about, okay, we're going to track some cultural sites if they keep attacking us. But then he was at some talk yesterday saying that, hey, I'm hearing that it's against the law for us to attack these cultural sites, so we're not going to do that. So if you don't want to attack cultural sites because you're worried about the law, I doubt you want to go carpet bomb them or turn the Iranians into glass statues. You understand what I'm saying? So I think what he'll do here right now is calm down tensions. Also, from the tweet yesterday, he was saying all is well, no casualties. Okay, you want to be more upbeat and not condescending. You don't want to be combative. You don't want to be mocking the Iranians because you don't want to keep this whole thing going. You want to calm down tensions rather than escalate them. So there's always going to be proxy wars, Rapper 10,000. There's always going to be proxy wars. Proxy wars are what the Iranians do. That's how a lot of these wars are fought in general. Not just the Iranians, but just people in general. Over the past 100 years, there have been more than that. You use certain people, you fund them, and you do X, Y, and Z because you have a common enemy. You don't want to fight the common enemy yourself, but you have them do it for you. That's kind of how that works. Okay, so we're hearing some noise, but I don't see Trump coming out. Mr. X-Ray says Southwest Florida is better than South Florida. Okay, thank you for your donation. Shout out to Abysmal for your donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to, I know I'm butchering your name, Everwenui, who says, resident socialist here. Love your content, Anthony, even though I disagree with a lot of your hot takes. Well, I thank you for your support. I'm glad to see that people from different points of view and I guess political affiliations can, appreciate the content. I thank you for joining. Definitely appreciate you. Rapper 10,000 says, did I see that the Iranian prime minister wants Trump and the USA to apologize for the drone strikes, even though Iran has violated those nuclear treaties? I did not see that. But I don't know what's going to happen. It's interesting. I really want to see what Trump has to say here. People are nervous. I think he'll probably come out here and just calm down tensions. If you were on Twitter last night, it was crazy tense. I'm talking about super tense. So I don't think that he is going to want to up the ante on that at all. Shout out to Blue Ringed Octopus, who says disarming citizens isn't a good idea. Now Democrats, exactly right. It's funny how we can be disarmed as Americans, but Iranians not so much. Interesting. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to More Than Conspiracy, who says thanks for what you do. I appreciate you for your contribution and your support. Shout out to you. Thank you to Jazzy Cat for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to David Arment for your donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Stacey Felice, who says this is awesome, ABL. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you to Sharon61 Sunshine, who says thank you, Anthony. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. Shout out to Brandon Wolf, who says, oh, I read that one from earlier about the faiths being important in honor societies. And shout out to Lucky SOB, who says, keep up the good work, Anthony. Well, thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Alrighty, so we're just hanging out here waiting. Shout out to Cortez Phoenix who says, I'm at my school library listening to this. Thanks. Hey, no problem. Hopefully you get your headphones on. You're not disturbing your neighbors. Shout out to Doug for your donation. I appreciate you, boss. Now, I did hear that the Iranians put a bounty on Trump's head, but that's probably not really going to amount to anything, honestly. Shout out to Uber Guy who says, we may see the best diplomacy in a long time. Salute. Hey, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. I think that's going to be the solution. It has to be the solution. It most certainly has to be the solution because if you don't come with the diplomacy, it'd just be bad in a lot of different ways, and we don't want that to happen. If you're just now coming into the stream, welcome. We're waiting on Trump to come out. The scheduled time was 11 a.m. Eastern for him to speak. We're at 11:17. He should be out at any particular moment. So we'll just wait and see. Thank you to that boy who says, thanks for the real facts, ABL. Hey, no problem. Thank you for your support, boss. Definitely appreciate you. All right, so we're just hanging out waiting. And we'll see when Trump comes out very soon here. I'm on Twitter right now. A hashtag is trending that says, I voted for Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton would have no problem invading Iran. No problem. She said that if they were to attack Israel, that, hey, we're going to just go and attack. They're turning the glass. Hillary Clinton is a big time war hawk. So imagine if all the things that happened under the Trump administration happened under Hillary Clinton's administration. She would have attacked Iran already. So let's not play those games like Hillary Clinton is not a warmonger or wouldn't have had us in a worse situation than we are right now, which is not even a bad situation in my humble opinion. Thank you to Jesus is King who says Q new. I don't follow Q. You know, people tell me a lot about Q, but I've never followed it. Apparently, there's been a lot of factual information to come from Q, but I don't know anything about it. But thank you for your donation and your information. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Tune In Drop Out who says, if the ordinary citizens of Iran didn't fear for their lives, they'd be celebrating in the streets. Exactly. You know, that's what I was thinking. It's kind of like once you get into these theocracies and the communist type of places where you got to comply or die. When I'm seeing the millions of Iranians celebrating in the street, I'm like, okay, are they doing that because they want to or because they have to? That's what I like to know, because remember, the protesters that were against the Iranian regime were getting slaughtered. I'm talking about iced, you know, putting 6 feet deep. You get what I'm saying? All because they have a different point of view. Say what you want about America, but we don't do that to our citizens. You know, you want to come out here and protest. You have the right to be able to protest. Almost too much of a right to protest, but a different story. I digress. The point is that we don't do that kind of thing over here to our people. They do it to their people. So very good point you made. Shout out to Mark Hargis who says, if we end up going to war with Iran, I'm debating going back in the Navy and fight for our freedom once again. Thanks, bro. ABL. God bless. Hey, thank you for your donation and your service, man. Definitely appreciate you. And that's a good donation right there. 2020, Trump 2020. Yes, he is going to win. I doubt there will be a war with Iran, but anything could happen. Anything could happen. Who knows? What happened to 11? I don't know. You know, you see that they're waiting. Everybody's right there in the crowd waiting, the same as we are. So it was scheduled for 11 and it's almost 11:30, and hey, maybe it'll come out at 11:30. Who knows? Thank you to Mnemonic for your donation. I appreciate it. Shout out to Matt Descent who says he was a bad man. Drone strike, no judge, no jury, no due process. A very dangerous precedent that should be alarming to any rational thinking being. I mean, things like that happen when you're talking about fighting. I mean, how many rules of engagement are there when you're talking about fighting? You understand? I mean, Barack Obama drone strike to an American citizen. So it's like, you know, what do you really do? The Rapporteur 1000 says Obama has done over 2,800 drone strikes against the Middle East, but Trump does one strike and he needs to apologize. What sense does that make? Hey, that's what I'm saying. There's been plenty of drone strikes from both sides. There's been Americans killed by Iranians, Iranians killed by Americans through proxy. Directly, not as much, but through proxy, yes, 100%. That's just kind of how it is. Is it a good thing? No, but what are you going to do? We over there, so either we're going to be over there or we're not going to be over there. That's pretty much where I look at it. Thank you to Thomas von de Hoff, who says, if Iran trusts its people, let them bear arms. That's what I'm saying. Let them bear arms and go out there, open carry, do whatever they want to do. And how about they can wear regular clothing in public rather than the beekeeper outfit at all times? How about that? Let's get some real freedom going on. But hey, everybody's different, so I can't judge. Rules of engagement are very different in the military. That's pretty much what it seems like. Virus. I thought that's pretty much what it is. It's different when you're talking about regular civilian life versus the military. All right, so we're just waiting. Who knows when Trump's going to come out? But we're just waiting right now. Should we retaliate? No, we shouldn't retaliate. If we do retaliate, it shouldn't be with arms. We shouldn't be killing people when nobody got killed on our side. You understand what I'm saying? Because the strikes on the Iraqi bases did not kill anybody, or at least not any Americans. So we shouldn't be retaliating for a thing that actually didn't happen. So no, we shouldn't be retaliating. I think what we're doing right now will pretty much be the extent of it, sanctions and that type of stuff. But we're talking about, if we didn't retaliate when the drone strikes, if we didn't retaliate when they shot our drones down, then why retaliate right now when they didn't actually kill anybody or hurt anybody? Like, what was damaged from the missiles? They intentionally missed their targets and they let us know beforehand that they were going to do it. So what's the point in retaliating? It doesn't make any sense. If we retaliate, then the only purpose was to fight anyway, and it didn't matter what they did. We were going to fight them regardless of what. Yeah, Iran used to be a good place, but the theocracy came along and it just changed. People don't really realize that. They think that Iran was always, beekeeper outfit haven, but it wasn't that way. Prior to the Iranian Revolution, things were different. It was more Western. It was like the U.S. in the 60s and 70s, but things changed. And it could change very quickly, which is why when people talk about trying to bring in socialism and communism, and they say, "Oh, you just you're fear mongering. It's not going to happen." How do you really know that? You got to be able to keep these things at bay so they don't grow out of control. Nip it in the bud right now so it does not progress into a worse thing. Very simple. And that's a good point, Rick. He says, "Don't be so sure we haven't already retaliated." That's a very good point. Hey, I can't even really call it because they're talking about, oh, there's earthquakes up under the ground by nuclear sites. What's really going on? I don't know. But people are saying that Trump should do this, Trump should do that. He shouldn't do this, he shouldn't do that. I think that we'll see what the we'll see the fallout from this kind of play out years down the line. They're saying that, oh, we shouldn't enrage the Iranians. They're going to say death to America. They were saying death to America and trying to attack Americans before this whole thing happened. This is just kind of this whole thing with the general is more of a PR nightmare than it is anything else. That's all. Okay, we got some action. We got Mike Pence coming out. We got Pompeo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like this. I see the generals coming out. I don't like this. Let's see what he says. All right, so we're just waiting for Trump to come out. Just not coming in. The scheduled time was 11 a.m., but he's not come out yet, so we're just waiting for him to come out and give his address. Here we go. With the grand entrance. All right, let's see what he says.
As long as I'm President of the United States, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Good morning. I'm pleased to inform you the American people should be extremely grateful and happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime. We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe, and only minimal damage was sustained at our military bases. Our great American forces are prepared for anything. Iran appears to be standing down, which is a good thing for all parties concerned and a very good thing for the world. No American or Iraqi lives were lost because of the precautions taken, the dispersal of forces, and an early warning system that worked very well. I salute the incredible skill and courage of America's men and women in uniform. For far too long, all the way back to 1979 to be exact, nations have tolerated Iran's destructive and destabilizing behavior in the Middle East and beyond. Those days are over. Iran has been the leading sponsor of terrorism, and their pursuit of nuclear weapons threatens the civilized world. We will never let that happen. Last week, we took decisive action to stop a ruthless terrorist from threatening American lives. At my direction, the United States military eliminated the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. As the head of the Quds Force, Soleimani was personally responsible for some of the absolutely worst atrocities. He trained terrorist armies, including Hezbollah, launching terrorist strikes against civilian targets. He fueled bloody civil wars all across the region. He viciously wounded and murdered thousands of U.S. troops, including the planting of roadside bombs that maim and dismember their victims. Soleimani directed the recent attacks on U.S. personnel in Iraq that badly wounded 4 service members and killed 1 American, and he orchestrated the violent assault on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. In recent days, he was planning new attacks on American targets, but we stopped him. Soleimani's hands were drenched in both American and Iranian blood. He should have been terminated long ago, By removing Soleimani, we have sent a powerful message to terrorists. If you value your own life, you will not threaten the lives of our people. As we continue to evaluate options in response to Iranian aggression, the United States will immediately impose additional punishing economic sanctions on the Iranian regime. These powerful sanctions will remain until Iran changes its behavior. In recent months alone, Iran has seized ships in international waters, fired an unprovoked strike on Saudi Arabia, and shot down 2 U.S. drones. Iran's hostilities substantially increased after the foolish Iran nuclear deal was signed in 2013, and they were given $150 billion, not to mention $1.8 billion in cash. Instead of saying thank you to the United States, they chanted death to America. In fact, they chanted death to America the day the agreement was signed. Then Iran went on a terror spree, funded by the money from the deal, and created hell in Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Afghanistan, and Iraq. The missiles fired last night at us and our allies were paid for with the funds made available by the last administration. The regime also greatly tightened the reins on their own country, even recently killing 1,500 people at the many protests that are taking place all throughout Iran. The very defective JCPOA expires shortly anyway and gives Iran a clear and quick path to nuclear breakout. Iran must abandon its nuclear ambitions and end its support for terrorism. The time has come for the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China to recognize this reality. They must now break away from the remnants of the Iran deal, or JCPOA. And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place. We must also make a deal that allows Iran to thrive and prosper and take advantage of its enormous untapped potential. Iran can be a great country. Peace and stability cannot prevail in the Middle East as long as Iran continues to foment violence, unrest, hatred, and war. The civilized world must send a clear and unified message to the Iranian regime. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem will not be tolerated any longer. It will not be allowed to go forward. Today, I am going to ask NATO to become much more involved in the Middle East process. Over the last 3 years, under my leadership, our economy is stronger than ever before, and America has achieved energy independence. These historic accomplishments change our strategic priorities. These are accomplishments that nobody thought were possible. And options in the Middle East became available. We are now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. We are independent, and we do not need Middle East oil. The American military has been completely rebuilt under my administration at a cost of $2.5 trillion. U.S. armed forces are stronger than ever before. Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal, and fast. Under construction are many hypersonic missiles. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it. American strength, both military and economic, is the best deterrent. 3 months ago, after destroying 100% of ISIS and its territorial caliphate, we killed the savage leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, Who was responsible for so much death, including the mass beheadings of Christians, Muslims, and all who stood in his way. He was a monster. Al-Baghdadi was trying again to rebuild the ISIS caliphate and failed. Tens of thousands of ISIS fighters have been killed or captured during my administration. ISIS is a natural enemy of Iran. The destruction of ISIS is good for Iran, and we should work together on this and other shared priorities. Finally, to the people and leaders of Iran, we want you to have a future, and a great future, one that you deserve, one of prosperity at home and harmony with the nations of the world. The United States is ready to embrace peace with all who seek it. I want to thank you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So there you have it. That was a little bit nerve-wracking, but that's what I pretty much expected was going to happen. 100%. Okay. So what we just got from that was Trump saying, hey, we're going to have sanctions. We're going to prevent them from getting the weapon. We want to have NATO join in and help us a little bit more. And that's pretty much what we're going to do going forward here. And I think that's the right thing to do. We don't need to be trying to, retaliate. Nobody died. It's like, come on. People were saying, oh, Trump's a warmonger. He has the warmongers around him. We came out there with the generals and Pompeo. I'm like, okay, they might talk about we got to go to war right now. But no, that wasn't going to happen. I didn't think that was going to be the case. And I'm glad that it's not the case. So ain't going to be no war. Sanctions have always been there regardless. They're going to keep on doing kind of like the same thing they've been doing unless they want the sanctions removed. Iran knows they can't really be trying to fight us. All they can do is just back down to get sanctions lifted, or they can continue to fight us and dig themselves into a deeper ditch. So, yeah, and Trump was some of his words kind of got slurred together, but you got to understand this man is probably exhausted, probably hasn't had much sleep, probably up all night trying to figure out what to say to the American people, trying to fight some of these warmongers in the administration. The man's 73 years old, so give him a break. He sounds better than Creepy Joe out there. Don't know where he's at, who he is, or whatever, but it's a different story. So I think that we're good to go. You guys let me know in the chat what you think about what he said here. I think that was a pretty good thing. Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can do something right quick. See if it'll let me do it. But yeah, I think overall, this was a very good thing to happen. 100%. What do you guys think? What should the reaction have been, and what do you think of the actual speech itself? I thought it was right on point. But like I said, everybody might not feel the same way. Props from the UK. All right, shout out to you, Jim. PN says did okay. He's a little upset. You got your vote. It was good. Beast mode, bipolar. ABC. Now, what is ABC saying about the whole situation? What is their particular viewpoint on it? He didn't say SHIT. No war. Yes, MAGA. He said everything perfectly. The man has spoken. Good choice. Good speech. President Kushner. Let me see. I was hoping to hear strike them down. Do it. Nah, you don't want that. You don't want the war situation to be happening. I mean, we could do the war thing, but I don't think that's really what we should be doing right now. Not at all. It could happen, but that's not really what you want to do. That's just how I look at it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys know better than I do. Maybe we should just fight the Iranians and just have that be that, but I don't think so. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. Hopefully the mic sounds as good as it looks. I've had this for a while, but I didn't really use it. And when I do my pre-recorded videos, you'll see no microphone at all, because I have a different microphone on top of my camera just for the pre-recorded stuff that I can edit the way I want. How long was the speech? Not very long. Probably about less than 20 minutes, right around 20, I say, because he was scheduled to come out at 11, but he didn't come out until right around 11:30 with his grand entrance, and he just ended a couple minutes ago, so probably right around 20 minutes, I would say. Life over oil, that's right, Ian. MSM take on it. Trump is the boogeyman. Now I want to see what the mainstream media says, because remember they were talking about, oh, he's goading us into war. He's trying to get a war started with Iran, is that and the third. So if he says, okay, nobody got hurt, nobody got injured, nobody got killed, we shouldn't be trying to retaliate with death, we don't want to have any kind of escalation, we're going to do sanctions, shouldn't that be what they want? If they respond in a negative way, they're playing games. They want him to not retaliate with force and get us into a war. Since he did that, then they should be congratulatory. They shouldn't be negative. But if they are negative, they're playing games. That what they say doesn't really matter. They'll just go with the narrative regardless of what Trump actually says out of his mouth. No war sounds good. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate it. And thank you for being a member. Where's the black boxes? I don't know. Good question. I think the Iranians have the black boxes, but they don't want to give it to Boeing because they may see Boeing as a U.S. company that can't be trusted. Resurrection Jose said, Mr. Logan, do you realize this could be a case of wagging a dog? Clinton this is going a little bit fast. Clinton most probably pulled it in 1998, and it's not above Trump pulling the same thing. It could happen, but I think Trump has been consistent with being against war. He's been consistent from the very beginning. From the time he was out there on the campaign trail, even before he was on the campaign trail, back in 2012 when he was tweeting about being anti-war with Iran during the campaign, and now in this particular situation, he's been pretty consistent with not being a proponent of war. So I don't see him doing anything differently than what he has been doing. OMG WTF says, plane emoji fire, question mark. Very good. Point there. We got to wait and see on that one. It looks like there could have been a missile strike that hit the plane, but I can't say that's what happened because I don't know that's what happened. It just makes it like you have the attack on the Iraqi bases where U.S. soldiers were at one particular point at the same time as the plane going down. Like within 2 hours, you have the strike and then you have the plane going down right in the same area. So it's like, what's going on? I don't know. So, I mean, really, the only thing you can do in this situation is either fight the Iranians, and the war is not going to be as easy as what we think. It's not going to be like Iraq, Afghanistan, and we're still over there years and years and years later. You see what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be as easy as what we think. If it were, then we probably would have already done it. So either you can strike Iran, go to war with them, or you can just do the diplomacy route, maybe put sanctions and stuff like that. You don't have many options here. You should want to de-escalate tensions because you don't want to have a lot of blood on your hands. And for what reason? Like, why would you do that? Why? Who was on a plane? Bet the U.S. is responsible. The people on the plane were mostly Iranian and Canadian citizens, from what I know, from what I understand. It was like 80 something Iranians and then like 30 to 60 Canadians, but the Canadians were like dual citizens, like people that probably are from Iran but moved to Canada. They were visiting Iran for a holiday and they were going back to Canada. All right, so that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna read some of the super chats and I'm gonna go and wrap it on up. I'll probably do a video, like a pre-recorded, like 10-minute or less, to talk about what happened here, or talk about everything that's happening, the earthquakes and the plane crash, all that kind of good stuff. But let's read your super chats right quick. Yeah, Turkey and Erdogan is kind of complicated because Turkey is technically a NATO ally, so that's kind of a complicated situation. That's very complicated because they're like, the geographic position is very interesting because they have Syria's right there and the refugees are trying to come through Turkey to Europe. It's complicated, very complicated. But thank you to Filthy Phil, who says Trump will not drag us into another endless war. If we need be, he will strike with precision and call it a day. Very good. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. That's pretty much what I think. If we must strike, then we're going to strike. If we don't have to strike, then we're not going to strike. So I'm pretty much right on point with you. Shout out to Truth Hurts 18, who says Trump has proven peace through strength is the goal. Iran just wanted to save face and he let them. Peace talks will be next. I have faith. Hey, I'm right there with you. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to S. Von Beckham for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Sorrow Soul, who says, I do not support war in the Middle East. This is not good for anyone. We want peace, not war. With you on that. Thank you to Trigger, who says, big ups, ABL, death to feelings over facts. Hey, right there, boss. I'm with you. Thank you for your donations, plural, because you're going to name another one as well. And I think that is pretty much it. Did I get everybody that I was supposed to read? Shout out to 6,000 pounds, who says, Jupiter in South Florida is nice. Okay. Let me see. Make sure I got everybody. Thank you to everybody that joined. You got Uber Guy, my man, Mike Magnificent. Everybody, thank you all for being here. Let me see. Richard Stanton, thank you for your donation. Thank you to D. Strahan for your donation. I definitely appreciate you, boss. Shout out to Osama Abdul, who says, Happy New Year, my man. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Mike from Queens, who says, military should sell stock in drones. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Lori Double O, who says, good show, ABL. Well, thank you for your very kind words. Thank you to Crush Groovin, who says, sorry I missed the show. Oh, I'm getting way back into a whole nother show. I'm tripping. All right. Thank y'all for joining. Definitely appreciate you. I'll be back again tonight, of course, for the regular ABL Live. And we got 776 in the building right now. I'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. I'll do my regular show, 3 hours. I'll talk, of course, for the first hour or so. And then I'll open the phone lines up. I know that this topic is very hot. You guys can call in tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. And when you subscribe, click the bell. That bell will notify you when I go live or post another pre-recorded video. So that's pretty much all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out and peace. Thank you, Milos, for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. I'm out.